Hi, my name is Stella Anthony, and today I'm going to be discussing the wonderful scientist, Dr. Beth A. Brown. Born in Roanoke, Virginia in 1969 from her parents Robert and Frances Brown. In high school, she went on a school trip to an observatory to see a ring nebula through a telescope. That really changed her mind about things because she was really interested in Star Trek and Star Wars, so her mind was already kind of set on the astronomy thing. Because of that, she pursued a physics and astronomy degree at Howard University in Washington, D.C., where she had the dream to be an astronaut. Unfortunately for Brown, she was nearsighted in her vision and she had cramped space anxiety. However, that did not change her mind because she ended up being summa cum laude and had a degree in astrophysics. During her undergrad, she had 2 internships in NASA where she learned about stars and how they were formed and all of that. She also played in the marching band, playing piccolo. She then would go on to grad school at Michigan University, being the first African American female to get a PhD in astronomy. After school, she would go back to NASA to collect data on elliptical galaxies. Beth would use NASA's ROSAT X-ray satellite and Chandra's X-ray observatory to collect data. If you did not know what an elliptical galaxy is, it is kind of like two smaller galaxies forming together, but they think that there is a supermassive black hole in the center of it. While after school, she was also involved in the National Society of Black Physicists and the National Conference of Black Physicist Students. She would often say that her greatest accomplishment was convincing a young woman to stay in the scientist path just because somebody said she couldn't do it. She also was involved in the NAFP, which is the NASA Administrator's Fellowship Project. This let Beth start her own course that led her back to Howard University, where she would do a course on the naked eye astronomy course. That was very important for her because it still exists today. It is where you study the elliptical galaxies without a telescope. Also, while she was at the University of Michigan, she would give tours in planetariums, which actually gave her a lot more experience, and she was able to share her knowledge with people. For the creative portion of my project, I'm going to be reading a poem that I wrote about Dr. Beth A. Brown. I'm going to pull that up real quick. From Appalachian Trail, her wandering mind propels. With head held high, reaching beyond the sky, she let her true colors fly. Dreaming of Star Wars fantasies with hopes of new analogies. At the telescope, the nebula ring did shine. While theories intertwine, being top of her class, she won't let opportunities pass. Summa cum laude on the right path, she had astrophysics like a staff. Having Michigan's first PhD in her grasp, making a way for others to clasp. Futures bright like X-ray beams, black holes in her dreams. At Goddard she did rise, exploring galaxies and their size. Data archives galore, cosmic wonders easy to soar. Her life was short but legacy long, astrophysics can see her like a song. Dr. Beth A. Brown is loved around, a legend forever bound. Dr. Beth A. Brown had a wonderful legacy. She gave a whole new way for women, especially African American women, to have a spot in science. She led so many great causes that caused NASA to go very far. Unfortunately, Beth O. Brown, although She was young, she was 39 years old. She passed away, unfortunately, with a pulmonary embolism. However, even though she has passed, her work still lives on in her course that it still goes on at Howard University and has made its way to other universities as well. She is also remembered as someone who lit up her room as she walked in with her smile, and she also made her presence known, and she made people feel important. Something that her friend and colleague at NASA, Dr. Howard Key, has said about her. Another thing that I find encouraging is that Beth A. Brown once said that she gave up in high school about going through college because she just didn't think she was learning anything. However, she said in an interview one time that this goes to show that you can still do whatever you want even if you didn't get all the right courses in high school. I think that speaks a lot about her because it shows that if you persevere and you keep on doing what you believe in and what you dream in, that you can make all of your dreams come true. I think Beth A. Brown is a good advocate for women who are struggling because maybe they think that that's not the path for them because they are a woman in science. I know science is mainly a men's field, as people want to say, but I think it's more than that whenever you think a woman can do anything a man can do. And just because you're a man does not mean that you're any better than a woman in that type of sense. Brown joined NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center. In 2005, she became a postdoctoral research associate for the National Space Science Data Center. 2001, she was transferred to the X-ray Astrophysics Laboratory. I think I have those dates mixed. So she did the National Space Science Data Center in 2001, and she got transferred to the X-ray Astrophysics Laboratory in 2005. She was hired as the assistant director for the science communication and higher education for the science and exploration director at Goddard. She also completed a NASA administrator fellowship where she was devoted a year to research with Dr. James Lindsay and taught classes with Dr. Demetrius Venable at Howard's Department of Physics and Astronomy. Brown served as an administrative executive officer for the NSBP for 2 years and was involved in the National Conference of Black Physics Students, the NCBPS. Following her PhD, Brown held a National Academy Science and was also, after her death, nominated to have a award nominated to her in her degree. So it is awarded to a woman, um, and it's a woman who is going into astrophysics. I think that's really cool because she is having her legacy come through her schoolwork.